Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios and the Gurkha Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Pat Chamberlain.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco of SmokinTabacco.com, and I'm joined once again by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Pat Chamberlain. Patrick, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
I know you don't want me to say anything.
Yeah, not this episode.
Yeah. Not too well. And I think for those who know why, but I'm not going to get into it. I promised Pat I wouldn't. Other than that, just, kind of the usual, run of the mill. It's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week, and looking forward to the weekend, looking forward to the last few good ones, because it's September. Before you know it, it starts getting cold. Although September and like the first maybe two, if like the weather's good, 2 weeks of October are like, I have to say, some of my favorite parts of the year, especially around here. I mean, it's like, we've talked about this before, but so I'm kind of excited. Like, I love summertime, but I think the older I get, I think the first half of fall, or like the first 6 weeks, are like my favorite time of the year. And I'm excited. Not because like pumpkin spice everything, just, it's just I don't know, the weather's like, like I said, as long as it's not too cold, it's like perfect. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. If you can comfortably wear a sweatshirt, like that's living right there. I like the summer, and I like when it's warm out because it beats the snow, but sometimes, like, July, it's too much. It's hot, it's muggy. Like, unless I'm out by the pool, I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, that's my spiel for the week. What about you? What's going on with you? What's new with you?
It's busy with work. I have a case going to trial next week, so I'll be in trial almost all of next week. So I've just been prepping for that. Smoking cigars like usual. Nothing. I shaved the mustache. You didn't call me out for it yet, but.
Oh my God! I didn't even notice. You shaved the mustache. What happened?
I was in my office, commented on me shaving it, and
like they wanted you to.
It was a mixed bag. But my dry humor, I think of something that I think is funny, and I say it. So this time of year in New England, the birds are flying down south for the winter.
And
so
chirping in the background, apparently.
So one of the female attorneys had mentioned to me, like, oh my God, like, you shaved your mustache. And I was like, no, it just flew south for the winter. And she took it, like, provocatively. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. But,
oh boy.
Yeah, that did happen. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I did shave it.
Damn, I was really getting into that. Like you had like the Tom Selleck going, and it's funny. One of the kids at work had one too, and I was like, oh, nice Tom Selleck. He was like, oh, thanks. I've been working on it, and he did like the And I was like, my buddy's got one too, and I've been telling him every week, like, it looks great. He's like, yeah, I think it's a new trend. Like,
I can grow it
I
quickly.
can't do it, but
If I want one, we had jury selection on Monday, and I was like, I'll be clean shaven for this one. So
you want them to not be distracted by how impressed they are with how handsome you are. You know what I mean? You're in there trying to do your thing. You're trying to like present this case. The last thing you need is the jury to like not even absorb that, because they're like, just look at that kid's mustache. Like, does he brush it? Does he oil it? Like, it's so perfect. Like, damn, I'm jealous. I wish I could grow that. I can't grow more than 3 hairs. Man, he must have the upkeep on that to keep it flawless. Like, you know what I mean? It's a distraction. It's so perfect that it's like it's too much for people. So I get it. But, just be proud of what you can do. That's all. It'll come back. You look too young now, though. I mean, I got so used to it now. I'm like, who's this kid?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, hey, look, we have a great show tonight. I don't want to keep them waiting too long. As much as I like having fun with you, Pat, but we have a guest on our show. Pretty awesome guest. I think most of you guys know who this person is. But it's his first time on the Smoking Tobacco Show, so I'm very excited about that. So we can kind of sit down and have our first long form interview. We've interviewed him at trade shows plenty of times, but his first long form interview with us. And by way of Drew Estate, it's the one and only Mr. Pedro Gomez. Pedro, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing?
Doing pretty well. How about you?
Very good, man. Well, first of all, thank you so very much for this amazing invitation. I would like to give a beautiful shout out to the Smoking Tobacco Show audience up there. So thank you, Matt and Pat, for keeping everybody informed of what's going on in the tobacco industry.
We do our best. We do our best, but thank you.
Well, you do a very good job, brother.
I
You do a
try.
very good job.
It's we do it out of love. We do it out of love. Um, I know Pat's always saying that too. He loves this industry. Pat loves this industry so much. He lives and breathes this industry as much as he can. Um,
That's amazing, man. It's a
he d-
beautiful industry.
Gotta say, it's fantastic. But also, he worked for Twins at Smoke Shop, Kurt Kendall's shop.
Oh, nice.
So he's
That's
got
a
retail.
beautiful shop, man.
Yeah, he's got some retail experience too. So that's also nice. He kind of brings in a different perspective. So we got all the angles covered here.
No, that's excellent, man. That's a beautiful shop. And I know Kurt Kendall for a long, long time. And, you guys are a big supporter of us and Drew Stain. So thank you so very much for your business, my man.
Well, the other thing too that we're gonna get into really quickly before we get too deep into the show, we had two short segments that we got to get to, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about you, Pedro, because like I said, it's your first time on the show, and everyone kind of has to go through this whole like, who are you and what are you doing, right? So
Yes.
our first segment is our cigars of the evening, brought to you by the number two guyscigars.com. That's right, another great shop here in New Hampshire. And they help make this show happen as well. Head over there today for an amazing selection of cigars and accessories from brands you know and love, and maybe a few new ones you haven't quite discovered yet. They do carry Drew Estate, and you can find Drew Estate cigars there only at the number two guyscigars.com. Pedro, normally I'd let you go first as the guest, but I know you're not smoking with us tonight.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Too bad that I can't smoke because it's raining here in Miami. So I am right here inside my living room. So too bad that it's pouring out up there. So
I'll give you this one, right? If you were smoking, what would you have grabbed?
I will smoke the Underground 10.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a very good smoke.
it's a good choice. I
It's a
can't say I
very good
disagree.
choice. I know it's a really, really good one. It's my go-to every time that I can.
Well,
What size?
yeah. Oh, wow. Good one, Pat. What size, Pedro?
I like the Toro size. Toro's and Robusto, but if I could have a Toro would be nice. Everything, regarding the size of the cigar, it all depends if you have the quality time to do it.
True. Very true. And don't ever rush through your cigar. Cigars are not meant to be rushed. It's supposed to be enjoyed. If you get a
Yep,
rush
that's
through
right.
it, it's not worth smoking.
That is so true, my man.
Pat, what are you smoking tonight?
So I think you and I were smoking the same thing
Oh, really?
accidentally. The is it the Toonie or the Tawny?
It's
I
called the Tuani. And Tuani, by the way, guys, and for everybody that is watching the show, so Tuani is a slam that we use in Nicaragua. The slam basically stands for very good, absolutely great, awesome, all the good stuff. So basically, 20, the Underground 1020 is a cigar that Drew Estate Factory makes for my own personal Drew Estate cigar events. So everywhere I go, Drew Estate Factory always send those coffins to the events. And when we're doing experiential events, and we got Jonathan Drew that he has his Savage Fizz cigar, Willie Herrera, which he has his Caja China cigar for his personal events. So we all, the three of us, we got our own little special thing for people that appreciate cigars from Drew Estate.
Yeah, those are fantastic. I love those coffins with the two cigars in them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
I love
I have
those.
a coffee
I do too.
here with
That's what it is. That's right.
Mm, beautiful with the
It's a
gold on
cigar that
there.
has been around since 2020, which was the year when we launched Underground 10. And the idea for Drew Estate is not, it will never be to sell a cigar like the 20. It is more like a customer appreciation, the way that we see it.
Almost like a
yeah.
gift or a
Yes,
bonus.
like a gift from Drew Estate, like a bonus. That's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember when the 10 first came out, they had the factory floor edition boxes, and
Oh
that was like
yeah.
I wish I was new to smoking at the time, and I wish I knew better. I would have bought as many of those as I could. That was remarkable. And they had
Thank you,
the
man.
flavors in there as well. You can taste the tobacco components. It was really good.
Yes. No, that year, my man, we went all deck out
Yeah,
because it was a phenomenal release from Drew Estate, something that really celebrate what Underground has been all about in the last 10 years, back in that time in 2020. And it has been amazing, man. Underground 10 has been performing really well. A lot of people that enjoy Liga Privada, Underground 10 is a really good cigar to go to as well.
Yeah, when the Underground 10 came out, the Toro was our cigar of the year. Actually, that was our first. That was our
Nice.
first cigar of the year, actually. But yeah,
You know what? I remember that. Yes, I saw you guys at the show and you guys were
yeah,
telling us about, man, that was something very, very nice, man.
yeah. I think you and
Beautiful thing
I did
about
an
the under
interview on that.
Beautiful
Yeah.
thing about that cigar math is that all the credits is to the people that work at Drew Estate Factory. It's
Oh,
nothing to
absolutely.
do with to anybody. It's just the people that work in the production floor. Those are where the credits goes to on that particular cigar line, which is the Underground.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to the Drew Estate factory or like the Safari. I know is kind of like your big thing down there. But I've heard so many things about it and how amazing it is and how big it is and the people. And I've been to other factories and while I know everyone's different and they do things differently, you know, I know what it means to you guys as companies, with the people in the factories and all and just everybody who helps work to make these cigars and put them together and get them, you know, to be what they are so that people can enjoy them. It really is the whole thing. It's
Oh yeah,
special.
man. Every cigar factory, not just in Nicaragua, but also in Honduras and Dominican Republic, it is a privilege and an honor to bring people from the market. Could be from the United States, it could be from other countries, it could be a very passionate cigar smoker, it could be a retailer, a distributor, it could be cigar media like you guys. And one thing for sure, guys, is that for anybody that give you guys the tour at any factory, they literally open the doors and the windows for the special guests. And that's something that at Drew Estate we take it very proudly, in a sense that if you come to the root of where Drew Estate come from, we're gonna show you everything from A to Z.
Absolutely, and that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. You guys really, you guys pull out all the stops. And hopefully someday we'll be down there and we can see it too. Um, because we love this stuff. It's we geek
Absolutely,
out
man.
over it.
It's one thing about experience a cigar from a cigar lounge. Another thing is about experiencing a cigar as a gift, but you take that experience to a whole different level when you go to the countries where your favorite cigars are made of.
Oh yeah.
And basically learning from the people, the legendary people that have been growing tobacco, people that have been fermenting tobacco, not just for years, I'm talking for decades. Knowledge that has been transferred from generation to generation. It's very interesting, man. And then if you have the opportunity to go and see all their cigar manufacturers, you are going to be amazed. And the next time that you have the opportunity to smoke a handmade premium cigar, you're gonna have a whole different appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I remember the first time I went down I went to the DR and I went to a factory, and it was very surreal. You first walk in, you see everybody at their rolling tables, or you see someone doing this or doing that. They got their music going, and you smell it in the air. You smell all the tobacco, and it really puts you in a place. You're just like,
Yeah,
shit,
man.
man, like this is real. This is awesome. It really is. It's just like, wow.
It really is, man. It really is. It's like the same thing. Like people that love bourbon, if they have the opportunity to be any distillery, could be any distillery, but if you love bourbon, that would be something that you will truly, truly appreciate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's on my list too, as I'm sure it is for Pat too. Cigar factories and bourbon distilleries is. I think me and him can agree on that one. I think we have the same list in order of like priority of we want to see too. And you know what? Someday we have to make that happen, Pat. But on a side note, one of the things, one of the other people that helps make this show happen is our friends at ST Dupont. And every week we shake up the legacy with ST Dupont, featuring the new Fender collection. This is the Biggie lighter, and Pat has the Slimmy version, which is just a little bit smaller. Next week on the show, I will have a new product from ST Dupont, the new Windproof Defi Extreme lighter. That's right. More on that later, but that'll make its debut on the show next week. Ask your local retailer today for ST Dupont products and ask them if they're shaking up the legacy with ST Dupont.
And they can ask them if they have the Liga 10 humidor and lighter
Oh,
in stock.
good catch there, Pat. I forgot about that. Well,
That's
we
right.
definitely got to talk about that. A little out of order tonight, but since it's already been brought up, let's bring it up with Pedro really quick. Pedro, at PCA, we saw the Liga 10, or the Liga Privada Aniversario, as I think it's actually called.
Yes.
Um,
Hmm.
you guys partnered with SC DuPont. Beautiful
Yes.
humidor, line
Yes.
2 lighter, the cutter.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Which I will add, one
Thank you, man.
misconception did not
Yes.
come with the cigars. I think some people thought it came like fully loaded, but it doesn't.
Oh, now we just added the Savage Feast, which is Jonathan Drew's cigar
Oh.
event. So I'm very sure that he brings 10 beautiful coffins. In
Oh.
total will be 20 cigars. And basically, for us, coming up with a collaboration at that level is to really give all the props to Liga Privada, and most importantly to people that love Liga Privada, that would love to collect something very, very unique, in a sense that something that when it comes to S to the point, you're talking about people that collect lighters and cutters, and to give something like a beautiful jewel to Liga Privada, I think that was something that it was something very special. And I'm very sure people that got the opportunity to get those beautiful, they get their hands on that beautiful humidor, they are going to be amazed and pleased.
Yeah, I saw it up close, and I remember saying, "Wow, this is cool. This is pretty impressive." I mean, I've been a Liga Privada fan, smoker, whatever you want to call it, for quite some time, and I just remember being like, "This is my problem," as I'm sure many people have this problem, and I blame you guys because it's your fault. I say that with love. I say it with love. You guys all like it's not just Drew Estate, but it's all the manufacturers. You guys keep coming out with all these limited edition things. When you see it, and you're like, I gotta have it. Like I have to have it in my collection, and it's like
Yep.
it's too much. You guys gotta stop. You just can't keep buying stuff all the time because then you don't. And you're like, and then you like it's like FOMO. You're like, I don't have it. Like it's something's missing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it's too much.
for us, we are constantly working on new stuff. We are constantly getting new raw materials that are coming from different tobacco countries in terms of raw materials, like wrappers, fillers, and binders.
Sure.
On top of that, we got Willie Herrera, our master distillery, our master blender, I'm sorry, who is doing an amazing job at Drew Estate. So on top of that, we got an amazing thing at Drew Estate Factory and the marketing thing and the sales department. So everything at Drew Estate is about keeping everybody in the loop, keeping everybody entertained, and keeping the whole team fan and ready to go.
And you guys do a great job. You make it look easy, but I know it's not.
It's a lot
Um,
of work.
yeah, yeah. Well, I wanted you've mentioned several other people at Drew Estate, but I
Mhm.
want to talk about you for a minute. I want to talk about you and
Thank you.
kind of where how did you get into this business? I know you're from Esteli, Nicaragua.
That's right. Yeah.
Um, so how does a kid like you, from Esteli, kind of get here? Like what's the story?
Well, long story short, Matt, and thank you so very much for asking me that question. So I was born and raised in Esteli. I knew growing up in Esteli that Esteli was a cigar factory town. But early on in my life, I didn't dedicate to work in tobacco. I was a saddle maker, so I was making saddle for horses, and that's how I finished school, finished high school, and everything, working and going to school. I did all my best to get good grades. That gave me the opportunity to apply for a Fuller Scholarship in Esteli, Nicaragua. That scholarship was managed by Georgetown University and it was funded by the United States government. So from Esteli, I went to Iowa, and the major that I chose was international trade.
Oh, interesting.
And long story short, came here to the United States with zero English. I'm still working on my English, to be honest with you. But I do graduate. I did graduate from that school in 2006. My goal was, well, obviously the rule of the program is that you have to go back to your country. That's what I did in 2006 as soon as I graduate. And
What happened here? Looks like I'm still alive. That never happens.
okay, no, don't worry. Maybe it was the internet.
Yeah, we're still live. For some reason, both of you just dropped out, and that never happens. I apologize.
No, but I think that if I look at your Facebook, I think that we are back. We are
Yeah,
back in business.
we are.
Very good.
All right,
So
so
very
continue
nice.
the story.
So yeah, I was determined enough. 2006, in August 2006, I was determined enough not to go back to the saddle shop. I worked as a saddle maker for 10 years. So I started to work when I was 11 years old. And coming back to Esteli, I was 21. I went to every single cigar factory looking for a job. Nobody had anything for me. My last hope was this little cigar factory, which was called the Gringo Factory from the locals. So I went to apply there, and thank God I got the opportunity. I got the opportunity to have my interview with Nicolas Melillo, the owner of Foundation Cigars. Back in that time, Nicolas was with Drew Estate. And
Nicaragua.
our general manager, that's right, Manuel Rubio. So these two gentlemen gave me the opportunity. So I start off literally, my brother, running errands at Drew Estate Factory for maybe a year while I was learning what was happening in every department. A year after, they promoted me to be the operation manager assistant. 3 years after, they promoted me to be the director of Cigar Safari to work in the tourism department. Then another 4 years, they promoted me to be the director of international sales. 2013, Drew Estate brought me to this amazing country with a work visa. And later on, Drew Estate sponsored my green card. So I owe so much to the United States. I owe so much to Drew Estate. And I owe so much to everybody that I have encountered along the way that have been helping me out. Because one thing for sure, Matt and Pat, we cannot forget where we came from.
Right.
From the moment that we do that, we lose our identity, we lose who we are, and we lose ourselves, which is the worst. So today I am working at Drew Estate in the marketing department. I travel all around the country of the United States in other countries as well to do trade shows, to do cigar events for Drew Estate. And it has been a bless. It has been a bless for me, for my family, for my community back home in Esteli, Nicaragua. and we are just grateful. And when I say we as a Nicaraguans, we are very grateful for everybody's support. Everybody that support Drew State, everybody that support Nicaraguan cigar, most importantly. Any cigar brand from Nicaragua that you smoke, God bless your soul, because you create so many job opportunity for a lot of people back home. People that work in the tobacco fields, people that work in the fermentation areas, people that work in the tobacco and the cigar factories, people that work in the factories that makes the wood boxes, and not even mention the people that indirectly benefit because of the cigar industry of Nicaragua is going well. So thank you so very much.
I just want to touch on that because I think that's so important you bring that up because it's one of the reasons why this industry is so special and it's so important. And when threats against the industry, like with regulations and stuff like that, it's more than just the cigars, themselves. It's the people that are behind them. And I've spoken to so many manufacturers and owners and people who do what you do, and I've seen it too. Not in Nicaragua,
Mm-hmm.
but in other countries, and I've been down there, and I see these people, and they're happy. They're happy to come to work every day.
Yeah.
They're thankful that they have a good job that they can go
Mm-hmm.
to, that's better than some other options that they might have, to say the least.
Yes.
And it's very refreshing to see. I mean, they're very, very fortunate, very thankful, very appreciative, and I think that shows in their work too.
Oh yeah.
Um, and
One
it's great.
one thing, in Nicaragua, people are very hardworking people. They love whatever you guys put into work. We are gonna give you only the best. And when you have a job in life, it bless you and it bless your family. I mean, blessing doesn't happen out of the thin air. You gotta work for it. And you gotta be prepared for every opportunity because you never know who's watching you, who's listening to you, and who is observing you. And most importantly,
Yeah,
observing your work.
that's so true, and it really applies to anybody. I mean, any of us. I mean, you gotta go in every day. You gotta have pride in what you do. You gotta, if you don't love what you're doing, you find something else because you're never gonna go far and be super successful doing a job you hate. Because when you
Yeah.
do something that you love, it speaks more than words can
Mm-hmm.
describe. I mean, it really is. So, Pedro, thank you for sharing that with us. That's really awesome, and it's
Oh,
great.
thank you,
It's great.
man.
It's great to see you. I mean, you're doing so good, and
Thank God, man.
come such a long way.
My man.
um, One of the things I wanted to bring up with you is, we kind of fast forward to, now, today, what's going on.
Hmm.
So now here you are doing your thing. Drew Estate, obviously one of the big four, as they're called in the media a lot of times. You guys came back, was it last year you came back to the PCA show? I think it was. Yeah, it was last year you guys
Yes,
went to
last
the PCA.
year. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
last year.
So I know you guys took a break for a minute. You guys were at TPE. We saw you there, but I know
Hmm.
you're back at PCA, and but while most manufacturers kind of use the trade show to launch their products, Drew Estate has been doing something which I think started with Underground 10. Um,
Yes.
it's something a little bit different, and I've seen you in the videos, and when you guys do your things, and you bring all your energy, which is great. But it's really cool. It's the Freestyle Live program. And
Yes.
Freestyle Live, which maybe I should let you talk about a little bit more, but
Hmm.
it really is unique. And I have to say, from the outside looking in, very cool concept, and so far it seems to be pretty successful. And recently, this year, you guys had two Freestyle Lives where you just unveiled two new products. So I'll
That's
let you
right.
talk a little bit about Freestyle and then maybe about some of the two new cigars that we saw this year.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to the Freestyle Life, it is a program that the birthplace it was during the pandemic. So basically, that was how we were connecting with our retailers and end consumers. That gave us the opportunity to connect with a lot of people. And one opportunity that we saw out of those ugly times, that was how we could launch our cigar lines. As you said, in the trade shows, a lot of people use it to launch a new product. At Drew Estate, we do it together with all our Drew Estate customers and Drew Estate fans. So basically, what we do, we launch a mystery cigar first. 2 months after, we do the grand reveal. And last year, the reveal was Blackett S84, which was our collaboration with Metallica, a great traditional cigar, medium body smoke with tobaccos that comes from Ecuador that we use as a wrapper. We use beautiful tobaccos that come from Pennsylvania and Nicaragua as a filler. And being a collaboration with Metallica obviously has been a very nice hit for us, because beautiful advantage that we have out of that beautiful project is that we got the opportunity to connect with a whole different demography of people that obviously, Metallica being so huge. And for us at Drew State, it was a beautiful milestone. This year, the one that we released, it was Deadwood Dominicana. It was a beautiful extension of the Deadwood cigar line, where you have the Sweet James, you got Crazy Alice, you got Fat Bottom Belly, you got Leather Rose, you got other excuses that we have releasing as a limited edition, like Dia de los Muertos, The Girl with No Name. But this year we launched Deadwood Dominicana, the first cigar in Drew State portfolio that has 100% tobaccos in the filler that comes from the Dominican Republic. It's a very nice, mild, mellow cigar with a very nice sweet cap. And people that love Deadwood cigar, they just can't get enough of Deadwood Dominican or Deadwood Dominicana. And it is amazing. For us, it was the first time for me being in Dominican Republic. We were in Puerto Plata. We were in Santiago. What a beautiful country. People with beautiful heart. A very vibrant country and culture. Amazing food, my brother. And when
Oh
it
yeah.
comes to the drinks, people love to have fun over there. And it's amazing, how they do grow tobacco in Dominican Republic, how we do in Nicaragua, how they do make cigars in Dominican Republic, how we do in Nicaragua. And, my respect for the cigar community in Dominican Republic, the people that work in the industry, my respect to them. And it is amazing what they have done, and it's beautiful for the end consumer to have different options. You know what I mean? Another one that we just launched, that one was a long time coming, which was the Nica Rustica Shade. That one was very close to my heart, because when the first time that we launched Nica Rustica, that was back in 2013, and it was the Nica Rustica Broadleaf. We were showcasing big time El Brujito, aka the Little Shaman, which was the a symbol that you might see in the band of Nica Rustica, which is in the back end. You read Nica Rustica in the back end, it said it got like a little symbol. So that little symbol is called the Shaman, which was a petroglyph found in a rock. The rock was found where Esteli City is nowadays. And Bishaman, according to the history of Nicaragua, the history of Esteli, Bishaman was the only person among the tribes that they were smoking tobacco. Tobacco was being used 600, 700 years ago for ritual purpose. And basically, tobacco was only for a special, extremely special ceremony and occasions. So El Brujito is the symbol that represents my city, which is Esteli, and it's beautiful because Nicaraguans are everywhere, not just in Nicaragua, the country itself, but in other countries as well. If we ever see the symbol of El Brujito, we know that Esteli is in the building. Fuck yeah! I'm sorry,
No, you can. It's okay. This is an adult
my
program.
friend just came out of the blue.
It's okay.
But,
We're not filtered here.
but for us, it was to pay the tribute to Esteli, the city of Esteli. a very iconic city when in terms of growing amazing raw materials, making a lot of great cigars that became legendary brands. You know, brands like cigar brands like Padron Cigars, My Father's Cigars,
Yep.
Nick Perdomo, Oliva Cigars, Joya de Nicaragua. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on, my brother, without mention private labels, without mention the people that have been doing an amazing job in all those different factories. So, Esteli, it is amazing because if you are a cigar smoker and you got the opportunity to travel around your city, or maybe around your state, or maybe around your country, or maybe to other countries. If you go to any cigar lounge, guess what? People have heard Esteli, Nicaragua. Now, you ask to any random person where Nicaraguan is, nobody will have any clue. But in the cigar community, Esteli, Nicaragua is a epicenter nowadays of the good stuff that comes out of Nicaragua. So yeah, so Nica Rustica Shea was the last release, and basically something very interesting. The Nica Rustica Shea, which is very different from the Nica Rustica Broadleaf, is that Nica Rustica Broadleaf is a medium to full body cigar where we use broadleaf tobacco that comes from the state of Connecticut, fillers that comes from Nicaragua, and the cigar is a long filler traditional cigar in a beautiful price point. Then you got Nica Rustica Adobe, where we use Habano grapper that comes from Ecuador, fillers that come from Nicaragua, long filler as well, the same beautiful price point as Nica Rustica Broadleaf. Now, Nica Rustica Shea is not the exception. That one, it has Connecticut Shea grapper that comes out of Ecuador. You got a binder that comes from Mexico, which is the San Andres. And right in the filler, we use three different type of tobaccos. We use Pennsylvania tobacco, we use Dominican tobacco, and we use Nicaraguan tobacco. So right there, my friend, you got a cigar that is mellow medium. The cigar comes in three different presentations in terms of the sizes. You got the Coronita, which is 4 by 46. You got the Robusto, which is 5.5 by 54. And then you got the Toro, which is 6 by 50. So those cigars are hitting the shelf right now. And I'm very sure that it's going to be a very good cigar that for everybody that love traditional cigar and the mild spectrum of strength.
You know, it's interesting when you guys did the Dominicana. I was kind of like, oh wow, this is a little different. I know it's not a Dominican cigar, in the
Mm-hmm.
traditional sense, but using Dominican tobaccos, and obviously I know Drew Estate's been big with Nicaragua as it's pretty much its main identity. But to see you guys kind of start, getting into more, Dominican tobacco use, and especially with the whole Dominicana, using the name Dominicana,
Yeah.
it's cool. It's as a cigar geek, it's like, oh, like
Mm-hmm.
here, this is something different. This is something
Yep.
kind of a little bit outside of what they're really known for,
Mm-hmm.
traditionally. And one can't
Yes.
help but wonder, is there a lot more Dominican inspiration in store for Drew Estate down the road?
Oh, my man, you never know. But one thing for sure is that Drew Estate never stop innovating, never stop bringing new smoking experience to the market. So Dominican Republic being so deep into tobacco and Dominican Republic having a long history in growing tobacco and making cigar, obviously it was a no-brainer for a company like Drew Estate not to go and explore tobacco from Dominican Republic. Matter of fact, the first time that we start to use tobaccos from Dominican Republic and we started to use in a very heavy did way, it was in the underground shade, where we use tobaccos in the fillers from Nicaragua and Dominican Republic. So the tobacco from Dominican Republic, it has a very distinguished flavor, very different from Nicaragua, very different from Honduras, and we saw the potential of what can we do with these tobaccos in Drew Estate factory. And obviously, when we use new tobaccos at Drew Estate, it's not finding something unique. That's very important, but it's also very important to find something that will have the capacity for us to be having and building inventory of raw materials. Because if we launch a brand, we have to, before we even launch something into the market, we have to make X amount of thousands of cigars just to supply the demand. And for us, whatever we do it with purpose. But most importantly, we do it because we believe it and because we love it. Otherwise, we are not going to be doing anything. And to keep people entertained is not just the events that we do, it also reflects in the cigar that we make. Because at Drew Estate portfolio of brands, we have from infused cigars like acid and tobacco especial to non-traditional cigars like Deadwood, like Pappy Van Wilco, like Kentucky Fire Cure, and traditional cigars like Nica Rustica, like Liga Privada, Undercrown, Herrera Esteli, Black Cigars. And you got from the spectrum of people that love to smoke special cigar for a special occasion like Liga Privada for people that wants to have a cigar every day like Factory Smokes. So at the end of the day, we try to make, our goal is to make and to maintain with high quality inconsistency a cigar for every palate. That's our goal. And that's the mission that we're still on.
One could argue the mission never ends.
The mission never ends, my man.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
in cigar making, I don't have to tell you. I mean, it's almost like an endless amount of possibilities, with different tobaccos and techniques in different regions and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's just there's so many different things you could do. There's so many different ways you can go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically with Drew Estate, I mean, there's a lot of great brands out there that do a lot of great job with their diversity of their portfolio. But Drew Estate has a pretty big portfolio, and
Yes, we do.
you guys do a really good job of making sure that each brand has its
Mm-hmm.
own identity, but at the
Yes.
same time, all of those different brands together have the
Mm-hmm.
same culture. They have the same feel. You always know it's Drew Estate. You kind of know the culture behind it, the
Yeah.
life behind it. But you can smoke a Liga, you can smoke an Underground 10, you can smoke a Nica
Mm-hmm.
Rustica, you can smoke an Acid, you can smoke Tobacco Special. You could go through all of them, and they're all their own individual personality. But at the same time,
Yes.
it's all Drew Estate, and it doesn't matter which one you smoke. You know that, and that's not easy to do. Sometimes people they come out with different brands, and it's kind of like it all kind of feels different, But you guys mastered that balance of individual identity, but the overall culture is the same, and I think that's also it speaks volumes too, because it's not easy to do.
Thank you so very much, man. Thank you so very much. Obviously, everything is behind everything that Jonathan Drew, the founder of Drew State, has created. Everything Jonathan Drew is Drew State, as Drew State is Jonathan Drew. So under his leadership, we have had amazing success. And obviously, me that have been working very close with Jonathan early on in Nicaragua and seeing how he thinks when he thinks about tobacco, when he thinks about cigar, when he thinks about brand. As you said right there, my man, the most difficult thing to build for every company in any industry is the culture. That's the most difficult thing to build and is the most easy thing to lose.
Right.
So in order to stay in tune and in order for everything to be in the same lane, we don't have to forget the principle of values and the values that we have at Drew Stay in the principles that will craft the mission in the long term.
Pat, I want to toss you in there. You've been a little quiet. What you got for us?
I got a lot.
I know you do.
It's one of the things that, I mean, we talked a lot about the cigars, and I'll bounce back to that. But one of the things about Drew Estate, and I've said this on the show before, that doesn't shock me, but it's I appreciate it is like the community of Drew Estate, like the daily smokers, the fans of Drew Estate, like how educated of a consumer base they are. And like when I was working in retail, I mean, the stereotypes. If you smoke sweet cigars, you're not a traditional smoker. You're a rookie, and that's not true. I mean, like, most of the time when there was a Drew Estate smoker going to the humidor, they are very much more well educated than your average cigar consumer, and I think it's because of it's this community Drew Estate made, through like the freestyle lives in 2020 starting, but just even like the accessible events Drew Estate has. And more often than not, a Drew Estate event's gonna have a principal there. They don't typically, like we talk on the show about the tablecloth events. Typically, a Drew Estate event's not a tablecloth event. Like Twins is putting on a Drew Estate event next month, and it's a pig roast
Nice.
event. It's not like your
Wow.
typical, you know, tablecloth event. And
That's
it's in the
amazing,
community
man.
is just like the Facebook page. If people aren't on the Facebook page, join it. Like it's just a well educated, very healthy community in the industry. So that's one thing I always applaud of Drew Estate is nothing beats it. Even like there's consumers that know like how the process of Kentucky Fire cured, which most of your cigar based consumers don't know that, but Drew Estate consumers do because the accessibility of information from the company is there, and people read it, and they know about the brands that they support. And I mean, even just with like in the brief time we've had Pedro on the show, I mean, there's a lot of historical and traditional information that he just educated all of us on, and the viewers, and that's every Drew Estate experience I've had has had that really in-depth, personable, like knowledge and conversation. So I mean, that's one just right off the bat thing of Drew Estate that I'll say. And one of the
Thank you, Pat.
things when it comes to the cigars, it's the spectrum of consumers that can enjoy Drew Estate, and at the 2020 Barn Smoker for the D25, the there was a box if you went to the VIP event, and it was like a nice like 10 count wooden box with just different, I'll call them milestone cigars from the company. And if you open the box up, there's a quote that says, it's like from Brooklyn to Esteli, from Acid to Liga Privada. And that quote like stood with me with Drew Estate because it kind of opens your eyes to how like not only like what JD did with starting in New York and then just
Hmm.
expanding and making this very successful company that a lot of people benefit from, but also like with cigar smoking, like there really is like a lot of companies talk about wanting something for every consumer. Like Drew Estate
Hmm.
is like the role model for that. I mean, there's not a there's not a consumer that won't find something in Drew Estate's profile that they
Thank you,
won't
man.
enjoy. And
Thank you,
one of
Pat.
the things that I'm curious about is, we talked about the Big Four. Drew Estate's the only company in the Big Four that doesn't grow their own tobacco. And you talked about
Yes.
buying enough of the raw material. So I mean,
Yes.
like, how many people are involved in that? I mean, because obviously you have to replicate. Like, I'm smoking the Underground 10 right now. When this first came
Hmm.
out, it was my favorite cigar, and it
Yes.
smokes the same right now as it did those years ago. So like,
Hmm.
seeing how you're not growing the tobacco. I mean, you're fermenting it, which people that know the process, fermentation is,
Yes.
I
It's a
would
whole
argue,
different
the most.
thing.
But
Difficult thing.
it's how do you like not only have the resources to go to these places and find a new tobacco, but how do you
Hmm.
continue to purchase and ferment to replicate these blends?
My man, Pat, thank you so very much, my brother. So, you mentioned something about the Drew State fans. So I want to take the opportunity to thank every single one of everybody up there. So that has been supporting Drew State, that just found Drew State, that they found something that we make that they truly enjoy. I want to say thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your business, and thank you for bringing more people into this beautiful cigar industry. So, in terms of everything that we have done in showing the customer appreciation, when it comes to the cigar that we give in those special events, the beautiful swag that we literally, through and through, we throw out as an end consumer, we always put our heart and soul into it, and we are very generous in terms of extending the appreciation through the swag and through these cigars for the people that support us day in and day out in the market. So that's something right there. Now, in terms of your question right there, Pat, it's very interesting. I'm glad that you touched into that point. Yes, Drew Estate at this scale is the only factory or the only cigar company that doesn't grow their own tobacco. We choose not to do it because growing tobacco is a whole different world. Basically, that's something that we have never done it. Maybe in the future, but right now we are concentrating our energy and our focus and resort on making cigars. So being a farmer is amazing, but that's something that we have never done it. So in Nicaragua, we work with different tobacco suppliers, and basically they have to, as soon as we start to buy more tobacco, they do know that there is the order is gonna get farther and farther and farther. It's gonna be bigger and bigger and bigger. So a good example, in Connecticut, beautiful tobacco that comes out of there from wrappers. I mean, tobaccos that we use as a wrappers for Liga Privada and tobaccos that we use as a binders for certain cigar brands and a little bit of the filler that we use in certain cigar brands as well. But the idea for anybody that wants to sell tobacco to Drew Estate is that they have to be prepared that they have to grow more and more and more because our production that we have at Drew Estate Factory is humongous. Is so every time that I heard the update number of the daily production is ridiculous. Right now, from the I saw the VP of operation of Drew Estate, we were at this beautiful event that we was called Family Reunion in a beautiful castle in Kentucky. And Jonathan Drew asked to Rich, which is his name, how many cigars we are making right now. We are making 340,000 cigars a day between everything that we make. And basically, in order to feed the beast of Drew Estate Factory, we have to have a lot of tobacco in inventory. That means that when we buy tobacco, path is buying the tobacco in advance. That means that the tobacco that we are currently using right now is from the tobacco that entered into the tobacco warehouse at Drew Estate Factory in Esteli, Nicaragua, 4 or 5 years ago. So we are working backwards. So basically, older tobacco are the ones that are coming into the production, and when we run out of tobacco, we stop the production of X and Y cigar brand. A good example, Liga Privada T52 back in 2014. We didn't ship a box, not even one single box of Liga Privada T52 because we were short on the grapple. And there were other excuses. When we are shortening X and Y tobaccos that we might use as a filler, we stop the production. So basically, we buy and buy and buy containers of tobacco in order to keep the quality and the consistency of this cigar. But then you will say, hey, so the tobacco is sun grown or it could be shade grown and it is a very unconsistency raw material. Yes, it is. That's why we have Willie Herrera. That's why we have a very amazing work team at Drew Estate Factory that they retweak the blend once a year just to get the cigar as it should be. Because I will be lying to you if I said to you, oh, we use the same tobaccos, the cigar gonna be coming the same. It's not the case. That's the magic behind blending and making handmade premium cigars. Is that keeping the quality and keeping the consistency in terms of flavor, the consistency is in terms of the strength, the consistency in terms of the construction, the consistency in terms of the blend itself. We will never make a good cigar using low quality raw materials. You could never make a good cigar using high quality raw materials and not having any clue what it's like to blend a cigar. And once you have a prototype of a blend, you have to follow through with a very good team that work at the production floor that will replicate that prototype not 100 times, not 1,000 times, but 1,000,000 times. One cigar after another cigar, day in and day out. That's how Drew Estate have been building Drew Estate one brick at a time.
I remember when the H99 was being introduced to the market, and I mean, like Willie does a great job for you guys. Like all the critics are like, "Oh, Willie's blending a Liga. There's no way he's gonna make something that you can put next to the T52 and the number nine." And then the H99 hits the shelf, and it's like, like I'm a T52 guy. Like that's if I had to choose one. Like I mean, it's a tough choice. It's all a mood thing, but the
Mm-hmm.
T52 is typically my go-to if I had to choose one of them.
Number
But the
9 for me.
H99, yeah, the number.
Yeah.
Well, and then you go into the Unica series, and you're like, oh
Oh,
well. But the
Yeah,
H99, like I mean, Willie did an amazing job with that, and
amazing
I'm sure that
job,
was a
man.
stressful blending period because like
Yes.
there's a lot on that. I mean, like Liga Privada is like was an industry changing cigar for the industry, so it's like to follow up the T52 and the number nine, it's like I can imagine how stressful that was. And then you have the Liga Aniversario, which again was
Mm-hmm.
it's an amazing stick. And luckily at Twins we always have them in stock, but I know there's places they're tough to get just because like it's hard to get.
Yes.
It's
No,
it's a
you
unique
guys
hybrid
buy a lot of
tobacco.
stuff from us, and we do amazing business with you guys, and therefore, basically, you got the whole cake all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's one way to put
in
it.
terms, but it's very interesting that you mentioned that because I mean, look at Willie Herrera. One interesting aspect about Willie Herrera, Willie, his background on tobacco comes from a boutique cigar factory right here in Miami, which is called the Candle Bronx. Under Willie Herrera leadership in terms of blending stuff, before Willie came, all those cigar geeks, they knew who Willie Herrera was. All those cigar makers that they have private labels, they knew the potential of Drew Staying. Obviously, Jonathan knowing Willie through his work, it was a beautiful opportunity to bring Willie on board. And I do remember back in that time I was living in Estelí, Nicaragua. And Jonathan Drew called me up and he said, "Hey, I got these two guys and I want you to give them a tour." So I was the one giving the tour to Willie Herrera and Sean Williams, which is a good friend of mine, who is the ambassador of Cohiba. Great guys. 3 months after, Willie Herrera was on board with us. And beautiful thing that Willie Herrera did, which literally took my respect. I gave my respect to him was he spent a full year living in Nicaragua, flying into Nicaragua on Monday, flying back to Miami Friday night, and basically during the whole week he was creating blends to release the Herrera Esteli Habano. He ended up doing like 75 different prototype of blend. Obviously, he picked one, and that was the one that we went through. But Willie, his magic touch is undeniable. His skills are impeccable. And top of that, you got a beautiful, amazing team at Drew State Factory that support everything that he creates. From people that follow through everything that with barcodes, stuff that we create that have to. If that's the blend that we're gonna make. Because if somebody got the blend confused, put it like this: let's say that we make 35 different prototype of blend, but the one that we picked was not the one that went into production. What a mistake. A mistake that it will cost the Drew Estate thousands of dollars. So therefore we have to have everybody in the same page, from the project manager to the person that manage all the logistic through the computer, through the inventory that we have in the tobacco warehouse, to the people that are gonna be eventually making that cigar. Everybody have to play the same song. And most importantly, everybody at the marketing department, seeing the potential and seeing what kind of brand we are going to create and what will be the distinguished point from this blend to whatever we make. If it is a traditional cigar, how different that cigar is going to be from the Underground, from the Herrera Esteli, from Liga Privada, from the Serie Unico. What will be the purpose? Who's going to be our customer? And most, in top of that, what's going to be the culture that you're going to build around that brand. Something that is not gonna be a catchy cigar is good, but it only catchy for the first cigar. A good cigar literally tell the rest of the story. And for us at Drew Stay, we cannot thank enough for everybody that have been believing on Drew Stay. Everybody that has been coming to Drew Stay and smoking a cigar, and that person bring one person, two person, three people, and they start to that person educate this and this and this and this, and I start to saw that fair hands when I was running the cigar safari tours. I was doing the tours at Drew Stay factory, at the fermentation area, and all the departments of Drew Stay, taking people to see how the tobacco was being grown in those tobacco fields, taking the people to the air cure process, and all that kind of stuff, stuff that I learned from other people. And most importantly, the privilege that I have to spread the knowledge to the people that love cigars. So for me, it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. So, and one interesting thing that I saw, it was people that went to Cigar Safari, they came back to the United States and they were talking everything about Drew Stay. They went to search for information in the internet, on the internet. I'm sorry, and then from there, you got people that they are, they are always promoting your cigars, and that's something that we cannot take from granted at Drew Stay. And that's why if we go an extra mile, forget it, the extra mile. We go 10 extra mile. We go 20 extra mile. We go 200 extra mile because having somebody that truly appreciate your cigar, it is a bless. Anybody can make a cigar, but few people build brands. That those brands, few of those brands becomes legendary brands, and everything is about who is leading the company, who's working for those companies as well. So 2025, there is a lot of cigar brands, great cigar brands that comes from amazing cigar companies. I smoke everything under the sun, and it is very interesting to me that when I see a cigar that a lot of people have been posting about on social media, that I have been reading about it, on from cigar media. And when I finally see the cigar and I'm able to buy the cigar or to get that cigar for free from a good friend of mine, that I might see in the road, it's very good when I have the time to truly appreciate what that cigar is all about. Most important, if I got something new, I like to go and read about that cigar. Why the name? What is the story behind? Where the cigar is from? What is the tobacco? What is the tobacco that is in the blend? And the definition of the cigar itself. And that gives me a whole different appreciation of what I'm smoking at that particular moment.
So yeah, there's a lot to unpack. And one of the things that was mentioned, and one there's an Easter egg too. If like Willie's origins, if someone gets the Herrera Steli Miami, then you can smoke a cigar made at that factory. Um, but the when it comes to the culture that Drew Estate has too, like one of the things that I think is another leader in the industry with how you do it is the subculture studios. I mean the the prizes, the gifts, and the different merchandise that comes out of it. There, it's insane. Like I remember at the Barn Smoker 2 years ago, I got one of those, like it looks like the Mystery Machine from Scooby Doo. It's like a retro van, but it's an ashtray. It's all hand painted, handmade.
Nice.
And I know that Nika Rustica boxes, like as you said, the story of Nika Rustica, it's like the history of Esteli, and I know that Subculture Studios, made the artwork for those boxes So,
Yes.
I just want you to tell us a little bit about like how Subculture
Yeah.
Studios came to be and
So
just what goes
Culture
into it.
Studio, yes. Oh my goodness, man. Thank you so very much for touching on that. So Culture Studio was created by Jonathan Drew. Back in that time, we used to have another person who literally found So Culture Studios, who was part of Drew State big time. A person that I have mad respect for him. His name is Jesse Flores. Jesse Flores and Jonathan Drew, they create So Culture Studios. Jonathan Drew being from Brooklyn, New York, and growing up in the street and literally have a beautiful appreciation of street art. That's how they say, hey, if we can create our studios so we can hire local talent, I'm sorry, local talent, kids that, if they cannot do graffiti in the walls, well, they can come to Drew Estate and they do graffitis at Drew Estate wall. And by knowing Jonathan, his creativity mind is like, what can we do to really enhance the experience of our end consumers, and most importantly, creating a culture around Drew Estate that, even though that we are in a traditional industry, which is premium cigars, we don't have to follow what everybody's follow. We can be who we are. We can be us, and we can be proud about it. You know what I mean? So Culture Studio is an art studio that is located at Drew Estate Factory. All the beautiful art that you see at the PCA trade show comes from the art department. We got around 45 local artists that they are painting beautiful swag. We also have a beautiful staff in terms of designing. Everything is in-house. The only thing that is outside of Subculture Studios, obviously, is the presentation of the bags. That one is in-house, but here at Drew State headquarters, which is Joey, who is our director of creativity of Drew State. He is the one that creates the faces of the boxes, the band of the cigars, but everything regarding swag and craft machine swag is from Subculture Studios. So yeah, man. So that's something that is more to show, give you give to the end consumer something unique, something that they can collect, and something that they can feel proud to say, I got this beautiful item that is Drew Estate. And it could be the Scooby Dooby little ashtray that you have right there, my man. You know what I mean? But those are those legendary moments that really enhance your cigar experience.
Yeah, and that's like we've talked on the show in the past about like the tablecloth events and like they you always get free ashtrays and lighters and cutters at events, and it's like how many like cutters and lighters and ashtrays can you
I
collect?
know.
Like it's I have a green, a blue, a yellow, a black, but again like Drew
Mm-hmm.
Estate, and especially like I think last year at the Twins event you guys had like a zip up like speaker kind of travel case thing, and actually
Yes.
I have
You
my
guys had
ash-
suitcases for the 25th, the
Oh, there
D25, man.
it
You guys
is.
go all out.
Love it.
it's
Oh
all
man,
hand
that's a
painted.
beautiful swag. I'm painting my man. Scooby Dooby, Drew Stay, graffiti, street art right there, my man. This is Drew Stay, brother. Undeniable. The signature of Drew Stay.
To Pat's point,
Yeah, and
though, I
But
it's
yeah,
like
in
mean,
terms of this,
to Pat's point,
yeah,
though, I mean, you go to a lot of events and it's kind of like the same basic shit all the time, which. I mean, don't get
yeah,
me wrong, like it's cool, but like you go to a Drew Estate event or like anything with Drew Estate's promotional, like you guys really do like some of the stuff you guys have. It's like wow, you know what I mean? It's like
no, we, we,
holy
we,
shit.
we go crazy, man. No, we go crazy, man, and we go crazy in terms of having a whole different budget at the marketing department just for swag. And it's not about the same random swag. It's swag every 4 months. Swag, different swag that you, for you, oh man, I got this one, but I would love to get that. But you know what? There is an event that is happening, right there, right here in my city. So I will attend to that and I will see what I can find. Yes, you're going to find beautiful swag. You're going to find special cigars for sale. The one that we are launching right now is the Finish Gauge Liga Privada H99, the one that has a beautiful Lancero side. We are shipping to every Drew Estate event around 5 different boxes. So basically, for every cigar geek of Drew Estate that wants to go and collect or buy something very unique, there you have it. You know what I mean? In terms of whatever the store carries, a store like the one at George Path, obviously, you guys carry everything from Drew Estate and everything that we got something new. You guys are the first one to get it. So in terms of first one to get it, this year we are launching Dia de los Muertos Sweet Jane Deadwood cigar. So it's gonna be available this year. I'm very sure that we're gonna be launching that cigar in on the Day of the Death, which is a big holiday in Latin America, and that's the year where we bring Dia de los Muertos, and that's gonna be the last release of Drew Estate.
Yeah, it's funny. I wanted to touch on the Deadwood thing for a second. I talk to a lot of people day to day, obviously cigar smokers and then like the regular cigar smokers, right? And then there's a lot of people I run into who are very casual or, very, once in a while or, they like to smoke somewhat regularly, but, not daily like, we do. Um, People who, respectfully, they don't know it like we do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, well, what do you like? And a lot of times you kind of get a lot of the same answers, right? A lot of the really big popular names that everybody knows. And
Mm-hmm.
lately, I've been getting a lot of people who are like, "Oh, is it Deadwood?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's right."
Yes.
And the people are there's a lot of people out there um discovering the Deadwood, and they're like, "Yeah, I like those a lot. I bought a box." Like, and I'm
Wow.
hearing that like feedback, and I've said it on the show a few times. More and more and more and more and more. I get people like, "Oh yeah, Deadwood, Deadwood." I'm hearing Deadwood with some of these names, and I'm like, "That that Deadwood's really getting out there. It's not just like for my point being is it's not just one of those cigars where like if you kind of know about it. It's like no, like everybody knows about it, and it's really getting some traction. It's getting popular across all forms of cigar smoker, um, and just it's nice to see that a brand like that and
Oh,
just kind of
absolutely, man.
take
No,
off with everybody.
it's it's a blessing, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful. It's a beautiful, amazing, unstoppable cigar brand. When we first launched Deadwood, it was Sweet James, and that cigar was exclusively available at Deadwood Tobacco in South Dakota. And basically, it would usually come around Sturgis, which was a big motorcycle rally, Harley Davidson,
Hmm.
Indian motorcycle, all those huge rally, part of the culture of the United States. We saw the potential, and then after that, we start to expand the cigar line from Sweet Jane to the other sisters, if you want to call it. But the beautiful thing about Deadwood is that it brings new cigar smokers into the mix. The same thing that Acid has done, the same thing that Tobacco Special has done. Deadwood cigar is coming in full force. One of them is because of the culture of how we present the Deadwood cigar line with the Katrina art. Something that for some people will say, oh, this is female oriented, but you got guys and girls that love that. In this case, ladies, because obviously cigars are for people that are at the right age to smoke cigars. So ladies and gentlemen that love cigars, and that's a cigar for new cigar people. You got people that gravitate around Deadwood for X amount of time, and after that they go to smoke a mild to medium traditional cigar, and then after that medium body, then medium to full, and then before you know, they are also bringing other people. But the idea is, keeping putting a lot of effort and innovation into getting very unique tobaccos, and top of that, creating a branding house for everybody to come and enjoy and see what Drew Estate is all about.
Yeah, and the kind of the way that Deadwood spread, I think it was interesting working in retail because in 2020 the big news of the year was that the natural cigars are being discontinued, and there was a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people that smoked that cigar, and it was kind of a mess
Yes.
at Twins because they were selling out. Everyone's like, oh, I got to get my Juicy Lucy's, and we're like, well, they're not
Mm-hmm.
shipping them anymore. Blah, blah. And then suddenly like Deadwood comes out. I'd say probably like a year and a half later, and when it first came out, I mean, we would get boxes and they'd be gone like honestly that day. Like they were selling out so quick, and it started, new sizes came out, the supply started meeting the demand, and now it's like,
Yes.
you don't work a shift at a cigar shop without selling a substantial amount of Deadwood. Like it's a guaranteed sale. Like there's all, and
Wow.
it sells it. You don't even
Thank
have
you.
to. People go in there buy
Thank you,
boxes, and
Pat.
it's been
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
it's the
Thank you.
evolution of that
Thank
brand
you.
is like you see like
Not.
that there's a big hole in the company with natural getting discontinued. So now it's like, well, what's Drew Estate gonna do?
Yes.
And then this brand kind of starts
Mm-hmm.
making its way into humidors. No one really knows what it is. They know it's Drew Estate, so it's a reputable brand. The branding's a bit different than what we've
Yes.
seen on the market. There's a cigar called the Fat Bottom Betty, so it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then it grew into essentially a titan in the humidor. I mean, it went from a small brand that just was kind of a new ripple in the humidor to it's like a staple to a lot of the consumers
Quickly,
going in. So just from that point,
quickly.
Wow,
very
man.
quickly, and it's still. I mean,
No,
so even like
it's
Icona, I mean,
man.
I'm curious how that does now because it's another kind of
Yes.
offshoot of Deadwood, but it's the same kind of branding, and I'm curious to see where that cigar goes.
It's going interesting, man. Like, first of all, man, thank you so very much, man. Because when we could be doing events, we could be doing a lot of things to keep everybody educating through social media, through how do you say, stuff that we do, experiential events, even self training and stuff like that. But the front line is people like you, Pat. So, on behalf of Drew State, my man, I want to say thank you. Thank you for suggesting Drew State cigars, for a new cigar smoker. That's something that goes a long way, my friend. So thank you so very much, my brother.
Of course,
Yeah, man, in terms of Deadwood Dominicana, the potential is unlimited. I think that from what I see of what this Deadwood Dominicana has done, we are gonna finish it at the year. Hopefully, I mean, we're gonna finish it at the year in a very good shape because of Deadwood Dominicana. Another one that is gonna be a beautiful bus or boost into what we are doing in terms of selling. Gotta be the Nica Rustica Shade. And to top it off will be Nica Rustica. I mean the Dia de los Muertos. So obviously, I mean everything that we do at Drew Stay is to see the market, understanding our customer base, see what can we do better because there is room to improve, and always believing of what you are doing, and most importantly, loving what you are doing. But thank God, we have had amazing years of Drew Stay. Next year, Drew Stay is gonna be 30 years old as a company. It's gonna be our
Oh shit,
30th
that's right.
anniversary, and uh, we haven't discussed what we're gonna do for that beautiful milestone. But one thing for sure, if there are people out there still loving Drew Stay cigar, we're gonna keep making them and keep making them and keep making them because that's the whole thing about it. You know what I mean? So when somebody wants to smoke a cigar, even myself, I have X and Y brands in my humidor, and obviously I know how every Drew Estate cigar tastes. I love to try new stuff, and I say, you know what? Oh, Friday, that's the cigar that I want to smoke. And it's amazing when you smoke something new that doesn't disappoint you, it surprises you in a big way, and you say, "Wow, man, this is amazing." And I'm very sure that that's the experience that an end consumer gets. when they find something that they truly enjoy. What you truly enjoy is the thing that you're going to preach about it. The thing that you didn't enjoy, that's something that you don't even want to think about it. So for us, Drew State growth has been tremendously, and that's something that we will never reach without your support. You guys, Pat and Matt, thank you so very much for everything that you do for Drew State. Spreading the message. For everybody up there, the retailers that believe on us, like Kirk Kendall, a good example, speaking about twins over there where you work, Pat. If he's going to place an order or something new, it's because he believes in the brand, and that's the most difficult thing to achieve when somebody have a trust on your company and the stuff that you make. And obviously, we will never be where we are without every end consumer support. For the people that comes and buy one cigar at a time, we want to say thank you, Drew Stay. Not just the company, I'm talking about the factory, which is the backbone of Drew Stay. So yeah, man. So it has been a beautiful time with you guys. I mean, nowadays when it comes to doing virtual interviews, we don't do it. I love to do it, but I don't do it that often. You know what I mean? So it is very interesting that an interview like this it's beautiful because it really brings you back. It really makes you think. The stuff that we do at Drew Stay, we do it with a purpose, and it's amazing on my end having the opportunity to express everything that we do with a lot of love at Drew Stay.
Absolutely, and thank you. Thank you for continuing to do everything you guys do at Drew Estate, and you know, make great cigars and do great events and great promotional stuff. It's everything. Everything you guys do is just so well thought out, planned, and executed well, and the result is always fantastic. We need we need more of that in the business, but we just watching the time. We are getting
Yep.
almost an hour and a half. We have two quick segments we have to do before we sign off. So our first one's our
Yes.
trivia segment, which Pat is going to kind of run for us. Our trivia is once again brought to you by our friends at Perdomo Cigars. That's right, featuring our 2024 Cigar of the Year, the Perdomo 30th Anniversary Sun-Grown Epicure. And Perdomo Cigars stand for quality, tradition, and excellence. Pat, what you got for us this week?
So I'm gonna do some random trivia. There's gonna be no rhyme or reason to it. First
Awesome.
one is I'm gonna be. You're gonna get points for how quick you can answer it because this can be answered if you think about it or do some counting. So, how many dots appear on a pair of dice? A pair of dice, not one dice. A pair of dice.
Total?
How many? How many dots total? are in a pair of
How
dice?
many? Oh, you're asking that question to us?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. Okay, hold on. 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 and 1. How many we got? Is that right? Is that what it is?
So that's what it is. Yeah, man.
But I
see the
do know
smoke
that the
coming out of
highest is
my
6.
ears.
Yeah, I'm doing the
Man,
quick
six plus-
quick math in my head. 10,
See
15,
smoke coming out of
6
Matt's
plus
headset
5,
over there.
11,
18,
15,
21,
18, 20,
40,
20.
42
42. Yeah, for the pair of dice.
for 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Times 2. That was good.
amazing, man.
I had to think about it a little bit. I'm like, you have all the information you need. It's just like,
You gotta think about it.
yeah. I'm like, wait, hold on. I got this.
This one's a bit. I mean, this one can also be achieved by doing quick math. How many minutes are in a full week?
Ooh, man. Dude, you got me on that one, bro.
Can I use a calculator or is that cheating?
I mean, like you could just throw a number out. I don't know, and then you can verify.
I don't know. I'm trying to be accurate.
Guesses are good here. I mean, how many,
Yes, I will say there's been a lot of times where I've been like, I don't know, I'm throwing this out there, and you're like, yeah, and I'm like, oh
How
shit, I
many
got that.
minutes a week
you can make a
has?
good estimated guess. I mean, you got 60 minutes.
I
in
would
an
say
hour.
9,000. 9,000. Gotta be 9,000.
You're not
A
far
high
off.
number.
Is it
You're
12,000?
not far. It's in the middle of where both of you are guessing.
Oh my God! So gotta be 11,000.
You're like right there. It's
Ten,
Oh my God!
10,080.
I was just gonna say
How
10.5.
long? How many?
10,080.
10,080.
10,080. Holy moly, man! That's amazing, man.
Really puts a lot in perspective when you really start breaking it down.
Mhm. That's when you know that
This
time
one
really
could be an
flies.
easy one. This is the last one here.
Yep.
What is the fourth letter of the Greek alphabet?
Better.
Oh.
Close.
Wait, say it again.
Ooh.
The
Better.
fourth letter,
Is it Delta?
it's delta.
Because
Oh,
it's
very
still kind of
nice,
like
man.
it's like Alpha Bravo, or not Bravo. I'm thinking. I'm
I
on
don't
like the
know
right
the
train. I'm on the right train of thought. I just don't have all the right like words.
Well, but both of you said something in the realm of it. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Very nice, man.
That was pretty good. Thanks for keeping it easy this week, Pedro. Sometimes
Yeah,
those are
Oh
not
my
easy.
God, man! I have to bring Neil deGrasse Tyson when it comes to this.
Dude, you know how many times he's made me look stupid? I'm just like, I don't know. That was our
That's
trivia
amazing, man.
brought to you by Perdomo Cigars. And next we have our news segment brought to you by Micallef Cigars. Smoke through the rainbow today. The black, blue, red, green, purple. I think that's all the colors right now. There's a lot of colors. Micallef Cigars. Our news is something I kind of talked about a little bit before, but I'll kind of go into a little bit deeper here, and then obviously I'll actually have this with me for our next show. But SC Dupont has released a new windproof Defi collection. SC Dupont introduces a new, uniquely calibrated soft flame with a blue flame technology experience. The Defi Windproof Collection, SC Dupont has developed a multi-purpose lighter designed to adapt efficiently and easily to all winds. A new flame and newly designed iconic diamond head bumpers to accompany the adventurer. Equipped with a flame resistant to drafts, it guarantees an expert ignition even under the trade winds. It will be available in 3 finishes: a black gunmetal, a chrome, and a copper. And as always, ST DuPont recommends using their own fuel. They recommend the black gas fuel, but I'll let you in a little secret. Any butane works. Sorry, Les, I had to. Those, I believe, are already out there. I think retailers already have those. So ask your retailer today for the new Windproof Defi collection. I am excited to get my hands on this lighter. It is, I believe, on its way to me now. So I can't wait to really, I'm going to really put that to the test, and try that out. So that's our news segment brought to you by Micallef Cigars. And, that's pretty much going to be it for our show tonight, guys. Thank you for being here and listening. Pedro, first of all, most importantly, thank you. I know you're a busy guy. I know how much you got going on. Thanks for being here with us tonight just to hang out and talk cigars and all that fun stuff. And, just do your thing. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Pat. Thank you so very much for having us. For everybody that is watching the show, shout out to Smokin Tabacco podcast show. Everybody that loves cigars, thank you so very much. I'm looking forward to see you guys very soon. In the meantime, Pat and Matt, wishing you guys all the success, amazing blessings to you and your family, and I'm looking forward to see you guys soon. All right?
Thank you very much, Pedro. Likewise, it's great to see you. Guys, thank you for listening with us tonight. And if you're listening later on the podcast platforms, we appreciate you as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere you get your podcast from. And as always, visit smokintabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates.